The U.S. Supreme Court shocked many today when it declined to address one of the major issues of this generation, same-sex marriage. The justices simply let stand lower court rulings which struck down same-sex marriage bans in 5 states. 6 more states are expected to allow same-sex marriage soon because of the non-action by the Supreme Court today. There was immediate anger among conservatives in this country and jubilation among same-sex couples and their supporters. The High Court's move may signal the inevitability of a nationwide right to same-sex marriage. J.P. Schnapper Castera is special counsel for appellate and Supreme Court advocacy for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, and he joins us from Washington, D.C. J.P., welcome to Arise America. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I just want to know your own personal perspective. How surprised are you that the Supreme Court chose not to wade into this?
It was a move that really surprised a lot of Supreme Court litigators and watchers here in D.C. This was a rare situation where the court had 7 different petitions facing it from 5 different states, and virtually all the parties agreed that they wanted the court to take at least one of the case, perhaps more. And yet the court declined. The practical result of that is, I think, quite positive in the short term. As you mentioned, 24 states, soon to be 30, more than half the states in the country, will now wake up in a world where gay marriage is legal. And I think any day when that happens, when this country becomes more inclusive and equal, is a good day for America.
I think most would agree the Supreme Court is always sending a message even when they don't act. So why did they, do you think, decide to take a knee, to use a sports analogy, on this one?
You know, it's hard to tell. These decisions come down with just one sparse line saying that the petition is denied. But there's a fair amount of speculation. The dominant theory at this point is that all the lower federal courts agreed, and so there was no pressing reason for the Supreme Court to step in. They usually step in when there's disagreement in the lower courts and they feel some need to resolve a conflict. That didn't occur here, and Justice Ginsburg, in fact, hinted at a forum last month in Minnesota that maybe there was no hurry to take these cases if essentially all the lower courts that had addressed the issue thus far agreed. I think that's probably the most likely reason. There's other speculation about specific judges, justices rather, but only time will tell about that.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up the comment by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She seems to be reticent about it, and as apparently the entire court, or at least some large majority of them. Would you speculate that this is about the volatility, the controversy, if you will, if some even continue to see it as controversial, of the issue, or is this more about states' rights? Because marriage is a states' rights issue.
That's I'm not sure if it's quite either. My guess would be that the court is waiting for this issue to develop and ripen, and, to use a legal term, percolate a little more for them to have to revisit it. And I suspect ultimately that may be good for the marriage equality movements and for the civil rights community. You know, in coming weeks, we'll have more than half the states in this country will have gay marriage be legal, and we're seeing a lot of momentum going in that direction. The states' arguments, on the other hand, are really starting to weaken every time they make them, and deteriorate such that even a Republican-appointed judge in the 7th Circuit said it was really hard to take them seriously and for them to be treated rationally.
JP, I'm wondering if those who are advocating on the side of the rights for same-sex couples to get married can maybe breathe a sigh of relief right now and take a break from this fight, or is there still an urgency here?
You know, I think there's still an urgency for couples and loving, committed couples in the 30 states where marriage equality will soon be legal. This is a good day. It's a step in the right direction. But for couples in the 20 other states, there's still a lot of problems, a lot of challenges, and their marriages, their relationships are not valid under law. So in those states and in other dimensions, the fight will go on. I think we'll see continued litigation brought in many of those states, predominantly in federal courts, sometimes in state courts, and also in the legislature. So I think the fight goes on.
All right, J.P. Schnapper Castera. Thank you so much, J.P. It's good to talk to you.
Thank you.